and gentlemen, this is Alabama football.
I cannot wait to watch how violent you're going to play today. I cannot wait to see the energy and juice on our sideline with 11 miles.
The main approach that I came into this year with is just pure attack. It's time to attack.
There's just good energy, the excitement of it.
The environment at Bryant-Denny Stadium is the best in college football right now.
But there is so much energy in this building.
Tradition, history, and pageantry, it's insane.
This place is rocking right now at Bryant-Denny.
All right, guys, we are excited to be here yet again on this great Tuesday evening, and we have an exclusive interview for the second day in a row. And today we have three-star edge Tyler Younger. Tyler, great to have you here, man.
Yes, sir. Blessed to be here. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So we're just going to go ahead and kick it off. So for obviously all the people that don't know anything about you or just something that you want to tell the people just about you, kind of give an overview of obviously who you are, who you currently play for, and just, you know, kind of overall of your whole story through your whole playing career.
Yes, sir. My name is Tyler Younger, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Then I moved to Georgia right around 2020, and I attended GAC High School, Greater Atlanta Christian in Norcross, Georgia. I grew up always playing a lot of sports, basketball, baseball, and football, all those kind of things. But all throughout high school, I always knew that football was ultimately going to pick me and ultimately where my love was at the end of the day. So been playing at GAC all throughout my entire high school career, and it's been great ever since. So
fantastic. And obviously from your the whole recruitment process for you, as we were kind of talking about pre-show, kind of took off overnight, and so kind of explain to all of the people watching that you weren't always an edge. So just kind of explain what position you played prior, and then like how you came to really obviously like play edge.
Yes, sir. I played receiver pretty much my entire like football career, like a receiver / tight end kind of guy, just playing on the other side of the ball. But I say right before playoffs, my junior year, I focused more so as an edge rusher, and ultimately that was great overall. And ever since then, recruitment process been skyrocketing, and it felt more natural to me, just being able to express myself and being able to be a dog on the field. I feel like edge rusher was the best way to express that personally for myself. So I moved to edge right before playoffs of my year, so this past season.
That's awesome. And, you know, kind of like that edge position, you know, I like to think, you know, especially on the defensive side, I mean, I think that position that when you really kind of think of an edge, it's that guy who can be, you know, the game changer on that side. I mean, the guy who's getting after the QB all the time, the guy who's really trying to set the edge, so to speak. And obviously this kind of leads into the question, just kind of the icebreaker. So, asked you about it pre-show, but with you being an edge and obviously coming to play for the Crimson Tide, that carries a lot of obviously like tradition. It carries a lot of pageantry, but also like a ton of players that, you know, played in previous years that are either currently in the NFL or had great NFL careers from that position. So I got to ask you personally, who are your top 5 Alabama edge players of all time?
Me personally, I always love Dallas Turner, Derek Thompson, Will Anderson, Cornelius Bennett, Tim Williams. I feel like those all like great guys that really like made a difference for Alabama as a whole, and just like fun to watch. Even like growing up, I've always been an Alabama fan, and just like being able to watch that, being able to grow in that, and having the opportunity to play with Alabama is just a blessing overall. So I'll probably say that's my top 5.
I was about to say, I've honestly got to agree. All of those top 5, those are probably mine as well. You know, I was fortunate that I got to watch Anderson and Turner obviously play together, and, you know, actually get to see them in person. And that was special. I mean, obviously, like they were a special group, and I saw Anderson come out of high school, and I said, this kid is going to be a starter. As a true freshman, this kid's going to be, top 3 draft pick, and sure enough, that's what he turns into. Obviously, Turner turned into the same thing as well, and I like to hear guys around this age group, around your age group, talk about Derek Thomas, talk about Cornelius Bennett, because that was, obviously way back in the 80s. And a lot of those guys tend to, really kind of harp on, Anderson and Turner and all these guys that have been in the newer generation. But just to hear like the old school Thomas, because, I mean, you go back and watch Thomas, I think Thomas is probably the most dominant defensive player Alabama's probably ever had. And I mean, Anderson's up there for sure. And, I think if Anderson would have played, his senior year, he probably would have caught probably the sack record, and, a few other things as well. So, but yeah, it's always honestly great to hear those. And obviously Tim was the guy. I mean, Tim was, I think, a lot like you. I mean, 3-star out of high school. Kind of the recruitment kind of took off overnight, and obviously came to Alabama. First year he kind of grew, and then second year kind of flashed. But then that senior year, he just absolutely he really turned into, this, I honestly think the commentators used to call him the pass rushing specialist at that point. I mean, obviously, he was great. So yeah, I would honestly, have to just, 100% agree with that as well. So as we kind of dive into your story, obviously we've heard a little bit of your background. Talk a little bit about just your recruiting journey. Obviously, we know it took off overnight, but talk a little bit about, who was your first offer, who started contacting you from Alabama, and then kind of what led you to obviously go to Alabama, and kind of take us through the process of, all the way from when you were obviously like offered at Alabama to when you said, this is where I'm going to go.
Yeah, for sure. My first ever offer was Yale University. When I was first getting recruited and stuff like that, it was mainly by the Ivy Leagues, Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, all of those schools. So I definitely say like that was like leading up to that point. But I would say that the point for me was Coach C-Rob. I feel like he's a great coach overall, and even better individual, and really grows the players as men. But he is GAC alum, went to my high school, all those good things. Had a great relationship with him, and him even like being back on campus, working me out, mentoring me on certain things was like very sentimental to me, and shows like how I would love to be able to play under him. But yeah, after that, we went to Alabama camp. Did really well at the camp and was blessed with the offer. But I say like even before that point, I always knew that Alabama was like a home in a sense. And just even having the chance to be able to go on campus, I felt something different that other schools didn't have overall. Just like, I don't know if it's the air or whatever it is, like it's just a difference at being there, because you produce great athletes, great whatever the field may be, but Alabama is producing top NFL draft picks and most people that went to NFL draft, all that stuff, and I want to be like that. So I feel like I said, Alabama always felt like a home to me personally, and C-Rob mentored me through that process, and I'm blessed to be able to play under him when that time come. But I've always been excited about Alabama as a whole and just being able to be a part of that team. So I'll say
absolutely. And like Alabama is special. It's a place that, every person who's come through Alabama, and, actually Will Anderson termed, he kind of, I guess he kind of termed the term, why not Alabama? Like he said, I don't know why you can't tell me why you don't want to play here. And obviously it seems like, especially, C-Rob has been, you look at the production these last 2 years that he's been on the staff too. And, you look at the edge guys that they have currently. Obviously Alabama's edge room, I think, is probably one of the, if not the probably top room in the SEC, and probably up there in top 3 in the country. Of course, you got guys like Justin Hill, and you got guys like Yumi Ozulu, who came in and transferred from South Carolina. You've got Xavier Griffin, who just came in this past class. And of course, you got Johan Pierre, a guy just absolutely huge. So I kind of want to ask, obviously you being on campus, and obviously that being your position, they usually put you with guys who play your position as well. to obviously, show you around campus. And, that's kind of like your visit people as well. So talk about your relationship, with guys like Hill and Pierre and Griffin, if you've had one yet.
Yeah. I was with Justin Hill on my official visit. So I say it went really well. And just even like being around the team and stuff like that, just being able to see the community and how everybody relates with each other. That was another important factor to me as well. It's like having that community around you and having everybody being for you is just a difference maker. I believe so. And I feel like that will like encourage you to be the greatest that you possibly can. And like I said, Justin Hill was great overall, just being able to see things from his eyes, the way he plays, and being able to implement the way he plays, like him and Yanze, into my game now, even this upcoming senior season for high school. Like, oh, he does this a certain way, he attacks this, and just being able to really envision myself at Alabama before I'm there to be properly prepared. But yeah, like I said, Justin Hill was great. Just being able to see the community here, see how the team oriented with each other, all that stuff was very important to me. So I said that was really good.
Absolutely. And, I think Hill and Pierre, are two guys that, are really going to make some serious noise for the 2026 season for Alabama as well. And, it'll just keep being added. So speaking of relationships as well, talk just a little bit about, because in this recruiting class in 2027, we obviously have you. We have obviously like Avery and Pauly too, and we also have we just got Jeremiah Beverly just a few weeks ago as well. So talk about if you have a relationship with them as well, because obviously y'all probably had to be on campus at the same time, if I had to guess. So kind of talk about your relationship with them and how you think y'all coming in together at Alabama is going to help just obviously like push each other to obviously be the best.
For sure. I was with Jeremiah Beverly. We went to the Alabama camp together, and then we also was on an OV there as well. So that obviously that's going to like be a future teammate, and like him and Jay Hill, we were all together, being able to build that relationship. But I feel like for Alabama overall, just like me personally, I feel like I'm relentless as a player. No matter what it takes, it needs to get done. And I feel like that Alabama implementing me into that system will be an asset overall, and it just be a different way of having certain things, because I want to win at the end of the day. And I feel like Alabama does that the best. So just being able to be a winner, be a part of that process, being a key factor in that is what I'm excited for. So.
Absolutely. And I mean, and, we'll get into this question as well, but I think especially, again, kind of like I said, that edge position really kind of sets that tone on the outside. And, if you've got, a lot of these teams, if you've got just a guy who can do that, then, you're pretty good. But if you've got 2, 3, or 4 guys who can come in and rotate and really get after the QB and really get in the backfield and really like just absolutely just wreak havoc on an offense. I mean, like you've got a hard unit to stop, and it's obviously definitely one of where you're going up against tackles that outweigh you by probably 100 pounds, and could be 6'6", could be 6'5", but also we know that edge is a lot about leverage. It's a ton of torque. It's a lot about your hands. And I think that's something that obviously Hill and Pierre and really everybody that's ever played at Alabama always has really good skill sets I think you even honestly kind of really hit it with the fact that you just have to be that relentless type of player. Like, you just got to be really able just to really get after it. And because I've seen plenty of teams that have the edge guy that, just kind of get blocked and, they don't really, try to push through anything. But then, you look at the Alabama guys and, you're seeing guys really try to, just constantly pursue just every single time. And, that's a hard thing to block. And, that's what I think Anderson and Turner, kind of all those guys really presented. I don't think they could really be blocked consistently. It was hard each time. So, and now sticking with the 2027 class, I asked Trent this yesterday in his interview, and he gave me his perspective. But obviously, with this being a smaller class, obviously Coach DeBoer said this was going to be an intentionally smaller class because they've really kind of focused on currently trying to keep the guys on their current team. And they did a really good job of that over the offseason as well. And they've got a lot of transfers that they brought in. We don't have a lot of seniors on the team, so we have a lot of potential for guys to come back in 2027 when your class comes in. Obviously, some of the media, some of our own fans as well have kind of, said, oh, he's killing us in recruiting. This isn't a good class or anything like this. So obviously you probably know everyone in your class as well, and the capabilities that they have. So just talk and kind of tell everyone why this is still a good class, why this class is still solid, and why people shouldn't be concerned about this class.
I feel like overall, our class is great overall, but even like more than just saying that, Coach DeBoer, I truly believe in what he has and what the system he has in place, and just like that, all the players that's being recruited and stuff like that. At least me personally, I believe that we all want it to a high extent. We all have that dog, that tenacity inside of us that wants to be great and backs it up on the field as well. But Alabama, I would say, is the best at recruiting overall. So I don't think it should be any doubt that Coach DeBoer and the rest of the staff don't really know what they're doing, because they've been doing it for years and succeeded, had a lot of positive and great seasons overall. So it should be any doubt in your mind that our class is any weaker or any different than what he has in the past, because he just had the years and the eyes behind it to be able to know it and see it. So like for everybody that's thinking like, oh, this isn't as well as it could be, I feel like you have to truly believe in him and believe in ourselves and believe that we could be as great as we possibly can without the hype or whatever you want to say behind it. So.
Yeah, and I mean, absolutely. I mean, like, I've even turned the attention to, the first 2 years, he's landed the number 2 in the number 3 class. And, he's already setting up as the top class in 2028. I mean, we already have 6 commits for the 2028 class, and we're starting off strong there. And I also tell people, I said, it's July currently, and early signing day isn't until December. So there's still a lot of time in between there for guys to, flip, or guys to make up their mind. And also, something else that I kind of put out there too is that, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people in the media say Alabama's turning into 3-star U. Well, the reason that I say that, I think stars are important, but I don't think stars can honestly tell the whole story like each time. Now, sometimes they're pretty good accurate, but other times there's plenty of, 5-stars who obviously came to Alabama, for the last 17 years who didn't pan out. There were 2-stars and 3-stars who came there who ended up going in the NFL draft in the first 3 picks or the first 10 picks. So, I mean, it's all about how you develop, and I think the staff does a pretty good job at that. And I will say as well, just because these guys are 3-stars in July, it doesn't mean that they aren't going to get bumped at the end. So, because again, it all depends on how they perform. It all depends on, the tape that they put out. And, if a 3-star goes out there and has just a great year, then, I mean, yeah, he's probably going to get a bump. So, I mean, he's probably going to obviously increase his ranking as well. So that's kind of what I tell everybody. And, I tell them that, don't look at the stars. You go look at the tape. And you go really see what you're getting in the tape, and you see what you're getting in the athlete. And I think that's what we get from you. And honestly, that's the first thing I said, because I watched your tape even before I saw what stars you had. And I said, and when I saw that you were 3-star, I almost said, that's too low. So like I said, because I don't think the stars tell the whole story. And so from that, I mean, I honestly agree. I mean, I think that, just like you said, the overall, I think what the staff can do, what the coach can really lean into, and, how they can develop players as well. And kind of sticking with 2027 and, sticking with Coach DeBoer as well. Talk about your relationship with him and kind of what, I know he probably had to play a part in your choice as well. So talk about, just the conversations you've had with him, and just kind of tell him from your perspective what you've seen in him as a coach.
Sure. I feel like Coach DeBoer is great. Just even being able to meet him for the first time after the camp I went to was great. Going to his house on an official visit, spending time, eating breakfast, all that stuff. Even like his relationship with all the coaches and the players was outstanding. And I'm really excited and I'm blessed overall. But I feel like Coach DeBoer, like I said, is a great coach, and he's great at development and even great with processing and all the stuff like that he does is it's unheard of and it's spectacular. So I'm excited overall. And even Coach Womack and Coach C-Rob, I feel like they've played a big part into that as well. And just really seeing myself in the defense I feel like no other place can really show me that, and how I can be used here, how I can be used pretty early as well, just with the like the room and how it is overall. But I feel like all the coaches like play a big part into like what I made in my ultimate decision. But Coach DeBoer is definitely great overall in everything he does. So.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we obviously heard from Trent yesterday, and, he said he's a player's coach, and that's how I described him as well. I mean, like, he loves his players, he cares about his players, but he's also isn't afraid to really, really like, I mean, I would say that, I've seen him chomp down on some guys too. And I mean, and I think everybody in the media tries to paint him as, he's kind of easygoing and everything like this. And I think he is, but I think that, they kind of underestimate that, he does have a competitive drive in him, and obviously he wants to be the best, and you don't take the job at Alabama if you don't have that, and so obviously that's huge. So now let's kind of transition out of the 2027 class. Let's transition into your senior year, obviously coming up, huge year, and it's going to be your first full year, correct, playing edge?
Yes, sir.
Like it'll be your first full year playing edge, and so I'm just going to ask, so if you really try to pattern your game really after anyone, who is that you like to pattern your game after?
Me personally, I would like to say Yanze Pierre. Like I said, I really want to like implement the things that he does on the field into the way I play now. So I feel like I relate to him. And then in the NFL, I'd probably say I play like a Michael Parsons in a way. So.
And then from that, what do you think your strengths are when it comes to playing edge?
I believe my length, I can use that to my ability. Just having an 82.5 inch wingspan is obviously a plus. So long arms, scissor swipe, all that stuff is I use is my primary move for sure. And my first step as well, just being quicker than most of the guys that's at tackle will allow me to be successful. So.
Absolutely. And then obviously with those strengths, obviously with this coming in your first full season at edge, there's obviously got to be things in the offseason that you've tried to improve on and work on. So what are some of the, I guess, areas that you want to improve on headed into your senior year?
Sure. I'll say that I want to be even more explosive off the ball. Just really being able to play a little bit more free as well, just knowing that where I'm going and stuff like that, just being able to play free, but be more explosive off the ball, be more violent with my hands. And I feel like that those two things will really be allow me to be successful this upcoming senior year. So,
and obviously, I think you said this at the beginning, but just for everyone who is just honestly like possibly joining now or anything like that, tell everybody where you play again and what classification you're in.
Sorry, you said where I played at?
Yes.
Oh, I played. You talking about before the like previous years or like
where you will play this upcoming year?
Yeah,
senior,
yeah, in Great Atlanta Christian School in Norcross, Georgia.
And how big is the school? Is it class?
Yeah, we're playing 4A this year, so we're 4A private. So we're playing all the teams. Last year we made it to the Final Four. I think that was unacceptable, but we have a lot of returning guys, and we should win the last game and win the state championship. So we need to get that done. But yeah, I'll be playing 4A. So.
All right, and kind of going on that, what is a team that you have on the schedule that you have circled, highlighted, that you are just absolutely just hyped to absolutely play this year?
I definitely say Stevenson for sure. Just having a guy that was originally committed to Alabama and then decommitted and went to LSU. I definitely want to have a great game that game. So Stevenson would be a great game to have. So excited for that.
Who was the player who was committed to Alabama who flipped?
It was the edge rusher. I think it was KJ. Yeah, KJ. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
KJ Green. He flipped it. But yeah, I'm very excited for that game. Just being able to get after it. So. And
then you kind of touched on it a bit. Talk a little bit about just what some goals for the team are this year, and some goals for like obviously yourself as well.
Sure. I feel like the team, like I said, we're very good. I have a lot of guys returning this year. Ultimately, want to be playing the last game and win the last game. I feel like last year we had a good season, but ultimately, like the Final Four is unacceptable, and we could do better. So I just want to make sure that the team does great, have team camaraderie, make sure everybody's tight, and just have a brotherhood about ourselves. Like we have like a term, all for one, one for all at GAC. So that means like I got your back, you got my back, and that allows us to play for each other and like boost us overall. I really like root myself in that. And then me personally, I want to have 10 plus sacks for the season. I want to score a touchdown and win a state championship. So,
and I kind of want to ask just one more question. So obviously you said that you played receiver prior to this and everything, and then you switched to the defensive side of the ball. How hard was it going from a skill position to, you know, kind of playing the other side of the ball where you don't get the ball every single play almost?
I feel like it wasn't as hard simply because a lot of those assets translate. And even in basketball, I played growing up like a lot of those skills translate specifically to edge rusher. And it's just natural to me ultimately. Like even playing my first game at edge rusher, it was just natural to a point. And like just obviously learning technique and stuff like that was a part of that. But the transition wasn't as difficult because that's just naturally how I was built for, and just the way I move my body. So I think that it wasn't too difficult overall. So
absolutely, and yeah, because I've asked some people who have kind of, you know, made the switch from offense to defense, you know, if it was tough, and you know we've seen that at Alabama, like obviously like Trayvon Diggs came in as a receiver, switched to cornerback, and you know obviously that turned out well. Cyrus Jones, the same thing. And you know Bray Hubbard currently at Alabama played QB in high school. He obviously hadn't played defense at all, and you know he gets to Alabama and you know he's a DB and a safety, and now you know here we are 4 years after that, and you know he's a preseason All-American candidate and probably going to be one of your team captains, and you know probably going to be in the upcoming NFL draft. So I mean it just proves that you know you can fake that switch as well, and it plays a lot as well. So, Tyler, I wanted to ask, have you been to a game in Tuscaloosa yet?
No, I do plan on going to the Alabama-Georgia game. So I'm very excited for that. Just being able to see it from a different perspective this time. But, that would be my first time being in Alabama for sure. So.
Well, fantastic. And you're picking a good one to come to. And, you know, also, like I told Trent, I said – I've been to a lot of Alabama games, obviously in my life. I've been in that stadium more times than I can count. And obviously having season tickets, it's obviously great. I've seen a lot of great athletes, and I've seen a lot of championship teams. I've seen a lot of great players play on that field. And, you know, I like to say that Brian Denny, any time of the day is good. You know, I love a good afternoon kickoff, you know, good 2:30, but there's something about it at night. There's something about it when you go at it at night, and you know the LEDs pop on, and you know it seems like the crowd gets about 50% louder, and it's just and you know it truly is a hard place to play in the SEC, and honestly the country as well. I mean, and I know that you know some of the other stadiums like you know Penn State, LSU, Florida, you know people in the media tend to say those are a little bit tougher, but if you look at you know the last 17 years, you know Alabama's lost less than 10 games at home, and you know so it is a hard place to play for opponents. So obviously you're I would say picking probably the best game to go to, and you know it's at night. So that being your first experience, I know people who have been going to games for 20 plus years, and they haven't ever got the privilege to go to a game at night. So the fact that you're getting to go to your first one ever and it's at night, I think that's great. Everything. So kind of talking about the team from last year, Alabama wise, what do you think? And I kind of like to pick everybody's brain. What do you think one of the top plays from, the season a year ago for the Crimson Tide was? I mean, we had a lot to choose from in the season, but what do you think one of those top plays was?
I don't know. I know it's kind of hard to pick one like top overall, to be honest. I feel like a lot of plays, just even like Sassy at LSU and like a lot of the stuff was great. So it's kind of hard to pick one. But obviously like a couple years ago, Ryan Williams' catch was obviously the top tier play. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to pick one overall, but I honestly just like watching Alabama football and just watching them succeed. So it's kind of hard to pick one personally, but
Absolutely. And, I was in the stadium personally for Sabian Brown's pick six against Tennessee last year. That was the loudest I've ever heard. I was in the stadium for, just like you said, Ryan's catch in 2024 against Georgia. I was sitting in the end zone where it happened, and that was pretty insane. I've been in there for a lot of great moments. I was there for the LSU game a year ago when obviously let's say Yanze had just a absolutely just great game. Ended up having 3 sacks. Forced the ball out towards the end of the game, and really kind of sealed the game there. I feel like Sabian's pick six against Oklahoma in the CFP was a game changer. Just guys who really step up and kind of going back to talking about the stars and everything with like all the recruits. But if you even look at, if people say Bama's turning into 3-star U and that 3 stars, aren't good enough to play at Alabama. Well, if you look at just what DeBoer had brought in from his other schools, Jeremy was a 3-star, Josh Schwabus was a 3-star. Both of those guys got selected in the draft and became obviously like captains for Alabama, leaders for Alabama. Penix was a 3-star, and you look at what he turned into. You obviously look at Lottie Brooks. I mean, he was a 3-star, really came alive in the CFP a year ago. And became a starter as well. So I mean, you start looking at guys like London Simmons as well. Honestly, similar story to yours, kind of came out of nowhere. Commitment kind of took off. He was a 3-star out of Mississippi, and came and he became a starter because of injuries. And he worked his way up and became freshman All SEC. So I just named about 6 3-stars there, and for everybody saying that 3-stars can't play at Alabama, well, I just said 6 who have, and that have been pretty successful in it as well. So kind of as we come to a close, obviously 2027 class is coming together. It's kind of entering where guys are going to be focused on their seasons. Obviously OV season is probably just about over as well. Still some flip potential. Obviously we got news today that Alabama is currently in the works to flip a receiver from Auburn as well. But is there currently anyone that you are trying to flip to Alabama, or anyone that you're trying to recruit and make that last push as y'all enter the season?
No, not at all. I feel like I'm very confident, and overall, I feel like it's been a blessing overall, just being able to have this opportunity. But I say no, it's not really anything personal, like anybody that I'm considering to flip to, and I'm pretty confident about Alabama as a whole and being a part of the team. So.
Fantastic. And are there any guys in the 2027 class that you are trying to flip to Alabama?
Oh, flip to Alabama? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I don't have any like personally. I know. I don't think I have any personally that would try and flip to Alabama. But I do think I'm very confident overall as like the team. And like you said, like a lot of people are saying like it's 3-star you stuff like that. But even like the quarterback room is pretty special. And I feel like some people are like overlooking that part, and we have a lot of 5-stars and a lot of guys that's going to do really well. So I feel like the 27 class as a whole is really good. So
yeah. I feel like overall, for it to be, you look at, Alabama having 13 guys in the class right now, and then you look at everybody really like who's in front of them, they've got upwards of 25 and 26 and 27. And again, you can get guys like that. And, I think the 28 class will be more like that. But again, Alabama brought in just the last 2 years. And for everybody on here, Alabama, just the last 2 cycles in 25 and 26, literally brought in 48 guys from those classes, and 47 of them are still on the roster. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive in the NIL transfer portal era. To retain that. And obviously they brought in some guys out of the portal as well. And again, they don't have a lot of seniors on the team per se this year. They've got a lot of guys who can come back. Over 75% of their roster can return in 2027. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to go out there and get 28, 29 guys just in a class, because you're going to have guys who are coming in, sitting 5th, 6th string for, a few years. And I mean, guys frankly aren't going to do that. So obviously I think this coaching staff has addressed the I think, the positions of the need, and obviously edge will be a room next year. I think that there will be a ton of competition in, because just think Pierre will be gone to the draft more than likely. I know Desmond is a senior. You've got a couple other guys as well, but I mean, guys like you and Jeremiah and like Averin coming in as well, that's guys who just can provide more competition, because you want to make sure that room in specific is obviously well taken care of. And it seems like Kane Womack really prioritizes that Wolf position there at that. And if I just had to guess, that's probably the conversations that you've had with C-Rob and him. That's probably the position that you would play, correct?
Correct, Wolf.
So yes, so just kind of talking about the 4-2-5 scheme and kind of like where you see yourself in that. How do you think you could really fit into that, and like where do you see yourself really succeeding in that scheme?
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty confident in Wolf as overall. Might do a little bit of bandit, just maybe like a little bit here and there, kind of like Yanze. But overall, like the Wolf position, dropping coverage sometimes, going off the edge, mainly on third and long, stuff like that. I feel like I feel really successful about that. I feel like that's a great spot for me overall. So.
Absolutely. And, edge, like I said, I love edge guys. I like edge guys is one of my top positions on defense. I love to see guys get after the quarterback, and like I said, they're game changers. All right, so to end the show, we're going to do a couple quick fire questions here, kind of just about you. So obviously with your senior year coming up, you've already told us the game that you are looking forward to. Tell us, what is your go-to pregame song? Like, what song gets you in the zone? Like, what's your pregame hype song?
Let me think. I either listen to like Young Boy, Little Baby. I'll probably say First Day Out by T. Grizz is a song I listen to. Sometimes I listen to Lauryn Hill, but First Day Out for sure I'll listen to.
All right, so what's your favorite pregame go-to meal? Like, what do you eat? I know that they usually probably like obviously like every high school team usually sits down and they eat together, because they usually provide it. But your go-to, what's your go-to on game day?
I say personally, like if it's I love my mom's cooking. I feel like nothing beats that. So like whether it's chicken Alfredo, yeah, I like chicken Alfredo. Yeah, chicken and rice, stuff like that. Pre-game, I'd probably say that's my favorite.
Absolutely. So let's see. In the 2027 class, I asked Trent this, and he had kind of an interesting answer. But out of the 27 class, it being a smaller class, is there anybody who's like a class clown, like who's always joking, like who's always just in a good mood, like just every time you've seen them or every time that you like obviously like talk to them in the group text, they're just like cutting up or laughing or just being the life of the class?
Well, I'll say like even on the OB, I'll probably say Jeremiah. It's probably he's probably like he was very cool, probably funny as well. So Jeremiah Brother was definitely a guy that was funny. So
absolutely. All right, and from your perspective, obviously you playing on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to switch to the offensive side. Obviously, the biggest talked about topic in the offseason for Alabama is the QB battle, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, and everything. So from your perspective, obviously I released an article and a video a few weeks ago talking about the QB battle, and I think they both have great skill sets. I think they're going to be fine either way. But from your perspective, which way do you see that going as far as, Austin or Keelan for Alabama in 2026?
I'm not sure. Like you said, I think each have like certain skill sets that can be used differently. But I feel like Keelan is a guy that could definitely be one of the I feel like Keelan is probably the guy that's going to be used the most by Alabama. But they obviously have different skill sets, and a lot can change from here to now. So,
absolutely. And with a guy that's currently on the team, what guy, obviously you'll get there as a part of this 2027 class, what guy and what player or players are you really excited to just be able to play with at Alabama?
Personally, I'll say Justin Hill, just being around him, being able to be with him for my official visit, all that stuff. I'm excited to play with Justin Hill and him being in my room and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I was about to say that will be fun. And I don't know if you've did you get a chance to meet Xavier Griffin at all?
I did.
I was about to say he's a guy who, I
Yeah.
kind of have on he's a guy that I have on the radar this year who I think is really going to make an impact and be hard to keep off the field.
Yeah.
And I think just with what they're building with him, Justin, Jeremiah, I think the edge room is set for, years to come. And I think I think we're going to have a really good rotation. I think Jamarian Matthews is another guy who, you can throw in there. So, overall, I think it's, overall, I think it's great and everything. So I guess the last question I would ask is, Tyler, where can everyone find you on social, like, Instagram, X, anything like that? Like, just tell everybody where they can find you at.
My ex is Tyler Younger, 27. And then you find me on Instagram at TYKings, TYK1NGS.
Fantastic. And guys, just wanted to kind of throw this out there. I reached out to Tyler probably about 3 or 4 days before he committed to Alabama. Obviously, if you saw on the Instagram page, obviously there was a graphic made as well for him. But I reached out to him about 3 or 4 days before he committed, kind of pitching him the idea and everything. And it was an instant response. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Bama." He said, "There's no question." So, I just told him to shoot me over some pics, and he did. And we put it together, and that was something that I was extremely happy to do, guys. But obviously, Tyler, it has been great just getting to obviously chat, man, and getting to learn about you. And, we're really excited, what you're going to bring to the class as well. And also tell all the viewers as well, do you plan to enroll early?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm currently taking summer class right now to allow that to happen. But yeah, 100%.
Okay, so we have 2 early enrollees, you and Trent both. So I'm obviously 2 for 2 on the early enrollees, and that's always good. I always love to see guys that are itching to get on the field. And just like I told Trent, hopefully by the time you enroll, obviously like in December, you'll be able to hopefully partake in some CFP practices. So obviously that's going to be good. But Tyler, we appreciate it, man, as always. And again, you are welcome back anytime on here, man. And we wish you, and obviously, best of luck to you in the 2027 season or 2026 season. And we can't wait to see you in Crimson in 2027.
Sir.
All right, guys, and we appreciate all of you guys. Y'all be sure to follow on Instagram, X, and YouTube as well. Like and subscribe for more exclusive content as well. We always appreciate Tyler coming on. And Tyler, best of luck again. And guys, we pray that y'all have a good night and roll tide as always.